I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina. And we are the co-founders and co-directors of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, warrior.
Or a person worth following. And so the program we developed is called TYRO, and we developed that program out of our own personal experience through incarceration and poverty and even this mindset of entitlement.
And I'll tell you what, though, out of our experience, we've been able to help a lot of other people get out of that ugly state of being, right? When you think people owe you something, or when you show up somewhere and you expect something in return, instead of just showing up because you want to help.
So our passion is to help people to begin to dream again, and then to be able to create those dreams and pull them down and create a vision and then achieve those dreams. And so as part of that, you know, the TYRO TV show, we hope that we deliver something to you that's valuable, that you can learn right where you are, but also something that's going to help you become better across a lifetime.
So today we have with us a great dear friend of ours. Her name is Dr. Brenda Oyer, and she's going to come and show us what leadership is all about through her lens of expertise, right? And to be able to harness that energy called leadership and what it means to be a strong leader, somebody worth following, a person that can be taken at their word.
So she is a brilliant lady. You are not going to want to miss today's show. We're going to be talking about CQI. We're going to be talking about what does it mean? What's the definition of leadership? And we're going to talk about what it means to be a leader in your home, in your community, in your workplace. And give you, at the very end of the show, like we always do, we're going to give you some practical tips that you can actually begin applying right now where you are.
You know, I know you guys look at us and we're like, wow, look at those strong leaders. But I'll tell you
maybe
this.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're thinking. But I'll tell you what, we have had mentors, some powerful people come alongside us and really help harness what we want to do and teach us and put us on a path of success to help understand principles on how to activate them in our life so that we can achieve our dreams, we can achieve our goals, and we can help empower others to do the same thing.
We know what it's like to stand at the base of the mountain, look up at the mountain and think, boy, that looks insurmountable. I can't possibly get over that obstacle. We know exactly what it feels like to feel hopeless and helpless and dependent. But we also know the experience of putting one foot in front of the other and achieving our dreams, climbing that mountain, being victorious and overcoming our obstacles. And that's what we want to help you do.
So stay tuned, and we come back, we're going to have Dr. Oyer with us, and we're going to get right into this great work, or this great word called leadership. So you don't want to miss this episode, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tiarina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina. And today we're going to be talking about leadership with one of the most brilliant people I know, who's very versed on the topic, Dr. Brenda Oyer.
Welcome, Dr. Brenda Oyer, and thank you for being on the show with us. And if there was anything that comes to one word, that when you hear leadership, what's the first thing that pops in your mind?
I would use the word influence.
Influence. Ooh. So why influence?
Well, leadership is essentially being able to influence the people around you to work together with you and to work together with each other toward a common goal. And so without that influence, and it doesn't have to be coercive influence. You know, obviously, that's not a good thing. We don't want it to be coercive influence. It's just the ability to have a positive influence on other people, so that you can get them to go along on reaching the same goal that you're all working together toward.
That's good. That's good.
awesome.
You know, I hear what you're saying, and we're addressing the men across Ohio and the penitentiaries and everywhere else that this might go to. And when I hear you say influence, you know, I'm thinking of dads and the men running their home. You know, they're the leader, and they're talking about leadership, and their job is to influence their family to move in a direction of success, to building a strong legacy, right? And so that's what I hear when I hear you say influence.
So Brenda, tell us a little bit about, so I told everybody that you're the expert, the local resident expert on leadership. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about what you know about leadership. Not, obviously, everything you know about leadership, but, you know, why would we have you here to talk about leadership?
Sure. So, well, I have some leadership experience. I've served in leadership roles for probably about 10 years or so professionally, and have learned a lot of hard lessons through that. Probably have learned more valuable lessons through my experience than I have through an academic setting. But I also have a doctorate of education in leadership studies from Bowling Green State University here, just about 25 miles down the road from us. And so from an academic standpoint, I've studied a lot of leadership and really love the study of leadership, and have found it a really fascinating and beneficial to me personally as well.
Oh, very cool. So when you did your dissertation, when you did your doctorate, what was the subject?
Oh, wow, I get to talk about my dissertation.
You do?
Yeah. So my topic for my dissertation was the relationship between humility and confidence and leader effectiveness.
Wow.
And I realized early on in my doctoral program that out of my personal experience and even out of some of my readings for my classes, that humility is really not a valued trait of leaders. And I knew from personal experience that that's not true, or that it should be, that it's a really important characteristic of leaders. And a lot of times people look at humility as actually being incompatible with confidence. And my goal was to, well, when you do a study, you have to be able to take the data in and analyze it regardless of whether it confirms what you believe or doesn't confirm what you believe. But I really believe that those two things work hand in hand. Humility and confidence work hand in hand with each other to produce effective leaders. And so I went out to gather data to either show or that was true, or maybe it wasn't true. And the data actually confirmed that
Wow.
those two things work hand in hand together.
The humility and confidence.
Yeah, the humility and confidence work
That's
hand in
powerful.
hand together to produce effective leadership.
So with that dissertation that you did and the humility and confidence, where does arrogance fit in this?
Yeah, so arrogance essentially is confidence without humility. So humility, I think this is actually a line right out of my dissertation. Humility is the dividing line between confidence and arrogance.
Wow.
And so you need to be confident as a
Yeah.
leader. It's really important that you feel confident. It's really important that you demonstrate to other people that you have confidence, because if the people who you're trying to lead don't believe that you have self-confidence, they're not going to have confidence in you. So that's a really important characteristic to have. But if you don't balance that with humility, it comes across as arrogance. And
Yeah.
arrogance has all kinds of negative consequences. And so the humility is a really important piece to complement the confidence.
Well, I really appreciate what you're saying, because I find, okay, taking that into a penitentiary experience that an individual is having, because in penitentiary, you got to put on a bravado, in most cases, a false bravado, right? And you got to put on this mask that the machismo in the Latino culture, or the confidence that he has that he's not afraid, right? And that he can overcome this adversity that he's facing. So when we come back, I'd like for you to talk about how somebody can make this more applicable. And if you could just bring it down a little bit where we can understand, okay, you know what, I'm in the penitentiary and I don't have any experience because my best thinking got me locked up, so apparently I ain't doing it right. But how can I take that type of confidence of what I do know and make it more positive.
And why is that important? Why would they even want to do that?
Okay.
So when we come back, we're going to have you hit that. And so stay tuned. You are not going to want to miss this. More with Dr. Brenda Oyer in just a minute.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we are here with one of our favorite people in the world, Dr. Brenda Oyer, who is an expert on leadership.
I'll tell you what, so far what we've been already given these nuggets about really understanding 3 key principles. How to balance confidence and humility. At least we talked about it, touched the base on it. And really the third, if you will, a type of poison that could try to creep in with
Without
confidence
humility, right?
and humility is arrogance, right? So doctor, if we're in prison, how do we apply things that we don't really necessarily know about, but we're confident. I'm a grown man. I'm in penitentiary, and I know the hustle game. I know how to make money. I know how to.
Well, before we even get to the how do we actually do it, let's talk about why. Because for me, I have to understand why it's even important before I even care about how to do it. So why is it important? Why do you think leadership and humility and confidence? Why are those things important?
Sure. Well, so when we're trying to lead other people, one of my favorite things to kind of analogies is if nobody's following, guess what? You're not leading.
Right.
And so it doesn't
right.
matter what your title is. It
Right.
doesn't matter what you think you are. If nobody's following you, you're not leading. And if you really leadership is about relationship. And so if you are arrogant, there are certain things that you're going to be doing that are going to inhibit positive relationships with your followers or the people that you want following you or want you to be joining you. I don't really even like so much
you want
think
to
about
influence.
that you want to influence. I don't really even like so much to think about people following you
Right.
as much as working together to achieve a common goal.
Right.
And so if you're arrogant, that means you think you know it all. That means you think you don't have anything to learn from other people. That means that you're not listening to other people. That means
Unteachable.
you're unteachable. You're not willing to admit when you make a mistake. Those kind of things really interfere with building positive relationships with the people that you need to
Right.
achieve goals together.
When I think about arrogance, I think about grown men with little boy issues. Right, because the little boy, I know it all. You can't teach me nothing, and the little boy trying to really convey that message, and it's really destructive.
Right.
The behaviors are destructive. But when you come to a place of humility and you're understanding that what a true leader looks like, true leaders, and I appreciate what you said. You had a problem with the word followers, because true leaders don't create followers; they create other leaders.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
There was.
Exactly.
I saw. I just was reading. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, an article about the difference between people with high IQs and the people. They had a group of people that had really high IQs and another group of people that were learners, that they would just like to learn. And so the people that had high IQs that felt like, I think it was arrogance, that they couldn't be taught. The people that actually had lower IQs but that were willing to learn and be taught and willing to learn actually outpaced, outperformed, and out-earned over a lifetime those that had the high IQs that refused to be lifelong learners. And I thought of you right away because we've talked a lot about leadership and about humility and confidence. So to kind of set the stage, when you think about as a dad and you think about being a leader as a dad, what do you think is probably the best way that they can convey that balance of confidence and humility as a father?
Yeah, well, I'm going to just backtrack just a
Sure,
little, and then I'm
yes.
going to get to that.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I just want to kind of lay the groundwork on is that there's a lot of misconception, I think, among people that humility is weakness. And humility is not weakness.
Absolutely
I mean, humility
not.
actually requires a lot of strength. And like my dissertation I didn't look at this in my dissertation, so I wasn't able to, examine this idea. But one of the ideas I came out with was that you actually have to have a certain really a high level of security and confidence to be humble enough to listen to other people and to get their input and to value their input and to not feel threatened by that. And so, so it's not weakness. It's really, humility is strength. And so I think it's really important people
That's a
to
great, if
understand
you don't
that.
mind, that is a great point, because I know in penitentiary, a lot of men will see humility as weakness, and then that person who's really exhibiting humility, they'll see it as a mark. He'll become a marked target for the predators in that type of environment. But really, one who's really comfortable in himself, who has that sense of security. I know who I am, and don't mistake my humility for weakness.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And yeah, that's a good point.
And so part of being humble is recognizing your weaknesses, but not feeling threatened by that,
Yeah.
and also recognizing your strengths, just not overblowing it, and thinking that your strengths are way more better than everybody else's, and
Right.
everybody's inferior to you because of that.
Right.
And so it's really just keeping a balanced perspective.
And I think
on
when
things.
men think like that, fathers or people in this type of environment, that really shows where they're insecure. Because insecure people try to be bullies. They try to overinflate their gifts or talents to and really create an environment of hostility, where misery loves company. So nobody wants to be around you because you're always a bully. Versus somebody who's secure in himself, that true humility, he's teachable and he's
Or
able to
she.
teach, or she's able to teach others and become a sponge in other people's spheres where they can learn and grow no matter where they're at.
Right.
Right?
And so if you think about getting back to Cathy's question about how do you apply that in a family setting, one thing, very simple thing, is just, when you're wrong, being willing to admit it, and being willing to admit and say, I'm sorry. It doesn't
That's a good word.
mean that your children still won't respect you. Actually, they'll probably respect you more,
Yeah.
because you were willing to say, look, I messed up, and I'm
Yeah.
really sorry. Will you please forgive me?
Yeah.
Being willing to listen to other people and gather input from other people, and not always, just because you're the leader doesn't necessarily mean you have to have all the answers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so being
That's a good word.
Yeah, and so being willing to look to other people for answers, and remember it's about teamwork too. It's not just I'm the leader and I want you to
Yeah.
follow me.
Right.
So when we come back, Dr. Oyer, I want to share a definition of TYRO that a guy taught me in prison as we were teaching the class about just what you're talking about, a leader and somebody learning. But when we come back, we're going to spend some more time with Dr. Oyer, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss this next session with Dr. Brenda Oyer.
We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we are talking about leadership, and we have with us a very special guest, Dr. Brenda Oyer. So we finished up the last session, and Ron wanted to share a definition of TYRO.
Well, you know, it's something that I've heard and that we actually talk about here among the other leaders at the Ridge Project, and we get to really understand what is a TYRO, because we want to represent a man of honor, a woman of virtue, a woman of honor. And a TYRO, I heard, is a forever learner, somebody who's always willing to learn. And that's one of the characteristics of a leader, always willing to learn from their environment no matter where they're at.
Which is a great segue for my question, because I was thinking, what I hear you say a lot, Dr. Oyer, is, okay, so we got to really be thinking about CQI. We got to be talking about CQI. We got to be looking at it.
What's CQI?
So what is CQI, first of all? And then part B of that question is, so how can an individual apply that in their own lives?
Okay, so CQI is an acronym for Continuous Quality Improvement.
Continuous quality improvement.
Right, and so the idea is, it's very much like you just said with the TYRO. It's you never stop learning, you never stop growing and changing and improving. And so you never become complacent with where you're at. And you always have a desire to continue, like you've never arrived. Because as soon as because the world around us is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So as soon as we think that we have arrived, guess what? Everybody else has moved on.
Yeah.
And so,
That's so true. I'm here, oh shoot. Everybody else is gone.
yeah. And
That's
so,
good.
So it might seem like, in a way, if you look at it negatively, you can look at it like, I just want to relax. But really, I mean, I think God created us to always be improving and always be getting better. I mean, what fun would life be if we're just stagnant? And I know personally that's not a place I want to be. And so continuous quality improvement is just really the fact that you just are never really complacent with where you're at and think that you have arrived at your final destiny. You're always learning, always growing, always improving.
So as a CQI, personally, in my life, I want to have people around me that are also thinking like me, right? What does it stand for? Continuous
Quality improvement.
Quality improvement. So, and that's also challenging each other, right? You know.
So how can we have our dads? How can we individually put that CQI in motion in our own lives? So we've got people around us that are challenging us to become better. So, but what do we need to do?
Right. Well, in a work setting, if you don't have specific goals to achieve, you don't know, if you don't know what you're aiming for, then you don't really know if you've improved or not. And if you don't really know where you're at now, you don't really know, are you making progress, or are you just going in circles? You know, what's happening here? So similar in our personal lives, we need to have goals because goals will help us chart our movement. And so I would just encourage, whoever's listening and just, people in general that, if you want to be continually improving, you have to know the goal toward which you are striving. And it's really important. It's important to have great, big, huge, I think there's a term in the business world called BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. I don't really like that term actually, but anyways, huge goals, which is like a vision, but you also really need to break that down and make it achievable, because you're not going to achieve that vision in 1 day or 2 days or even a year. I mean, it's going to take time, and if you don't have shorter steps that make you feel successful on your way to achieving those goals, you're going to get tired and discouraged, and sometimes you might want to give up. So you have to really make sure that you have the vision about where you ultimately want to go, but you also need to break it down into achievable steps that reinforce your confidence and help you realize that you are on track.
I want to add to that, because one of the goals that when men come out of there, they have to successfully not only re-enter their society, but to successfully complete, whether it's post-release control, probation, or parole. So the term of that type of challenge is either like maybe 6 months, 18 months, 3 years, 5 years. Right? So these are like
sometimes 10 years.
Sometimes 10 years. You know, we were just in a state recently where if they were sentenced to like 15 years, right, and they might only do 2 years. But the remainder of those 14 years or 13 years, they're on paper. They're on parole for that long a period of time.
Yeah.
So they're on the streets, they go get a job, but if they violate, they can go back and finish that time, which is pretty interesting. But that's their goal. That might be a long-term goal, but it's achievable and it's doable, right?
Yeah, it's really important to have your big goal broken down into something that's achievable, so you don't wear down and don't give up.
Don't give up.
And then also to have a plan for how the support system you're going to need to help keep you going toward your goal. Because sometimes sometimes you need those other people to keep you going.
So as a leader in the home, and we're talking about fathers here, we're talking about really helping men become that man in the house, to help your children. You know, right? Our kids, their goal is to complete first grade, complete second grade, complete high school, graduate. Right? In some cases, you know, that maybe things have shifted in their life, and now we're just trying to encourage them to go back and get your GED. Right? These are goals that can be obtained and can be achieved.
So
right?
when we come back, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Brenda's going to give us 3 tips, 3 things that you can do right now to help you really hone leadership, or your continuous quality improvement plan, or finding people around you to help you become better. One of those topics, but she's going to give us 3 tips that can actually help you right now. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we are talking about leadership and the continuous quality improvement plan with Dr. Brenda Oyer.
So Dr. Brenda, we left the last segment with, we want 3 nuggets, 3 things that will help empower and help ignite and help us personally and the viewers out there to move the needle in their life. In other words, move them in the direction of forwardness, you know, to achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
What would that
absolutely.
be?
So in our program, we actually have something called a TYRO accountability plan. And so there are very specific steps that process involves. And many people may have heard that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So my word of encouragement would be to have a plan. And so there's some really key elements to the plan, and one of the things that are very important is to write it down.
Something so simple. And that hardly anybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And so writing it down would be like writing down what is your big picture vision, what is your long-term goal, and then what are some of the shorter-term goals that you need to, that are achievable, that you need to take to put you on the path toward achieving your long-term goal. And then once you have defined your goals, define some really specific action steps that you need to take. Like, what do I need to do within the next month to do something that's really tangible and concrete that's going to help me achieve that goal. It might just be signing up for GED. It might be just something that simple, and then finding out what the schedule is, and then going to the first class.
Right.
So it's very concrete, achievable steps that you can do. And then as you're going through your plan and taking those steps, actually tracking your progress. One of the things about leadership too that we didn't talk about is it's really important to celebrate your successes.
Oh, yeah.
And so, find a way that you can celebrate your accomplishments, because it keeps you motivated. It keeps you moving toward your goal.
That's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I give myself a food treat when I accomplish something. I'm like, okay, I earned this food.
Yeah.
And it inspires me to keep going.
Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
That is awesome. So what I'm hearing you say, Dr. Oyer, this isn't stagnant life. This isn't a stagnant lifestyle. This is action. This is like you talk
Purposeful.
about, you're a superhero in your life. You become the hero in your story, and this is action. This is you hear the director say action. The movie, there's never no cut. Right? It's move forward. Even in the pitfalls or where somebody might stumble and fall, that's still moving. Life is still moving. Get up in the motion.
And in the midst of that, as you are learning to be a leader, you are teaching your kids what it means to overcome obstacles and to become a leader and to become humble. And I love that. The one thing that they can do to exhibit both confidence and leadership is apologize. Like when you mess up, and we all mess up as parents, but taking that opportunity to say, you know what, I'm really sorry, what I said was wrong, what I did was wrong, and please forgive me. And then that teaches your kids to be able to own their own mistakes and to overcome those. And that's really powerful.
Gentlemen, as we get to close out this next session with Dr. Brenda Oyer, we really want to encourage you. If you stand up and you say you're a leader, would others say that about you? Would they see that you're a leader creating other leaders? Or are you just out for a walk? If people really gravitating towards you because you got something that they want, being success, are you staying out of the hole? Are you writing letters? Are people coming to see you because they value what you have, the goodness that's inside you, and you're being able to give it to them freely without expecting anything in return? Because that's one thing that I think a leader is. He's always willing to give and not to take. Right?
Yeah. So Brenda, is there any final thing that you want to share before we get off and we're done with the show?
Yeah, I think there is, and it kind of feeds on some of the things that you guys have talked about, and that's that, we all make mistakes, and but part of being a leader is that when we make mistakes, we don't define that as failure. We actually learn, we actually have an attitude toward mistakes as an opportunity to learn and grow and become better.
Nice.
And if we allow that to define us, it's actually going to stunt our growth.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's really important to not get stuck in that and to not live there and to wallow in it, but
Right.
to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I've made some mistakes, but I'm not going to let that keep me where I'm at.
That's right.
I'm gonna use that as an impetus to move forward.
That's a good
That's
word.
awesome.
So our past doesn't define who we are, but it will qualify us for a future if we let it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Awesome.
Well, we want to thank you, Brenda, so much for joining
Thank
us
you so
today.
much, Doc.
Give you a
My pleasure.
hug. Thank you
My
so much.
All right.
It's awesome to have you. And we want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey towards achieving your dreams and your goals.
So always remember, until next time, we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.